What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I'm here today to review the Smashing Pumpkins' Machina 2, the friends and enemies of modern music. We've done these reviews on the Smashing Pumpkins albums throughout the last couple months. We reviewed every single album from Gish all the way up to Machina 1 2 weeks ago. So now we're about to do Machina 2 in our kind of long list of doing this. We're not done with these kind of content. I've been loving, absolutely loving, making these reviews for the Smashing Pumpkins, and I want to continue it. So next time in 2 weeks, I'm going to be previewing, just to give you guys a heads up what's coming, I'm going to be previewing their tour, the Shining Oh So Bright tour. I want to do that, and I do want to review the rest of their albums. I want to do a Zwan review. I want to get into the newer Smashing Pumpkins stuff, Zeitgeist, Oceania, and Monuments. I want to do all those. So that's what's coming up over the next little while. But right now, we're going to go into Machina 2, an album that's not talked about very much, but I think a lot of people truly love this album. I truly love this album. I've talked about how these Smashing Pumpkins albums constantly rotate for me in terms of which ones I like the most, and Machina 2 has some of the best, hands down, the best Smashing Pumpkins music ever made on it. And the history of it's rather interesting. We're going to be talking about the history of it in this video, so I do want to start with that. We always start with that. And then we go into every single song on the album. And this album, this collection, really, of EPs and B-sides and demos and alternate tracks, there's a lot here, and there's a lot to discuss, so I definitely want to go into that. But Machina 2, obviously after Machina 1, Billy Corgan wanted Machina to be a double album, obviously telling the tale of this rock musician gone mad, and kind of how I talked about last time in the Machina 1 review, really talking about themselves as a band and how they're perceived by the audience, by the fans, by the media, and kind of portraying themselves really wacky. Obviously, you know, Glass and the Ghost Children talking about the fans, and they formed the band The Heavy Metal Machine. So they really went off the deep end, or Billy Corgan wanted to envision that and make that. And when they were recording Machina, it became very clear that Billy Corgan wanted to do a double album again. But Adore just didn't do well enough for the music company, I think Virgin Records, to allow them to do that. And then Machina did very not well, because then after Machina came out, he wanted to release Machina 2, and they said no. So he made his own record company, and he released it that way. They went back into the record studio, and they had already done a couple of these things, but they went back in over that summer of 2000 and released and recorded the rest of the songs that ended up becoming Machina 2. They released this on September 5th, 2000 in a really interesting and unique way. They printed 25 copies of Machina 2, and they gave them out to their closest friends. They gave one to a radio station so they could distribute them, and they gave some to some of the most prominent Smashing Pumpkins fans online at the time, and they gave them instructions to distribute it throughout the masses. They wanted everybody to get this album for free, so that's what they did. They printed very few copies of this album, and they just gave it out to people that they trusted to actually just spread it around the world. And it went rather well. I mean, people really liked Machina 2. When it actually ended up happening is people liked Machina 2 way more than Machina 1. And we talked about that in the last video. Machina 1 has some problems, there's just no doubt. And I think if you combine them, and you took some of the weaker songs from Machina 1, and even there's a few, you know, weaker songs from Machina 2, some songs that are definitely good but are just kind of there. Some of the alternate takes aren't that great. Some of them are absolutely amazing. We'll talk about them. But if you take them and you mix them together into one album, you have probably the best Smashing Pumpkins album they've ever made, in my opinion. If you take the best of both albums, put it together for like a 20 song, if they made a double album out of this and just removed some of the weaker songs, this would be better than Melancholy, it'd be better than Adore, it'd be better than Siamese Dream, it'd be better than all of those. But that's not the case. You know, people listened to it, people really loved it. This was the Smashing Pumpkins that people wanted from Machina 1. This was a more electric, this was a more, you know, heavy, spacey kind. There's a lot of this spacey kind of elements that was definitely present in songs on Machina 1 for sure, but it just felt like this had the band like firing on all cylinders. This really felt like the band. And when you listen to this album, you really do get that sense. This album is just more, in a weird way, it's more polished. It's got better lyrics, it's got better guitar parts, it's got better Billy Corgan singing. everything works together. It's more powerful. Some of these songs are super, super hard. Not to say there's not songs on Machina that are, Everlasting Gaze hits you right in the face right from the beginning. Stand Inside Your Love, a phenomenal song. Eye of the Morning, Heavy Metal Machine. There's a ton of songs on there. And then, it gets more spacey and dreamy and kind of wacky towards the end. Glass and the Ghost Children, Wound, all those kind of songs, Age of Innocence. There's a lot of songs that are really, really good. But when you listen to this, you can just go down the list and pick and say, like, man, this song is phenomenal, this song's heavy, this song really hits me, this song is very emotional, this song you can tell, there's just, and like, it's emotion. Some of these songs just have raw emotion behind them. Some of the songs just sound beautiful with the kind of dreamy atmosphere that they made. In a way, a lot of these songs are reminiscent of the Siamese Dream and all that kind of stuff era, just because of how they sound, but also the heaviness of it sounds a lot more like the Melancholy days. But here's the thing. When you listen to this, you do get the Machina era. These songs sound like they belong on Machina 1, and Machina 1 sounds like they belong on Machina 2. The Machina era is a truly unique sounding era for the Smashing Pumpkins, because it's really them evolved, and Billy Corgan evolved as a group and as a person to still have the elements and sounds of the past, but in a new light. I mean, his voice is a lot different in terms of how he sounds Machina 1 and 2, very more raspy, and the kind of Billy Corgan I think people think of when they don't like his voice is these kind of songs. Even though they don't think of these songs, this is the Billy Corgan, like the whiny kind of voice that people don't like. I love it, actually. I really, really like his voice in all of these songs, and there's some songs that I absolutely adore, and not to make a joke on adore, but there's a lot of songs that I really, really love his voice. I love all the parts to it, but this was the end, and it's kind of funny that this is how we're doing it in the video form. In the next video, we're just going to be previewing the tour, because this was the goodbye to the Smashing Pumpkins. This came out on September 5th, 2000. Their last show, I believe, was December 13th, December 11th, somewhere in early December at the Metro in Chicago, maybe even December 1st. The last show they ever played in 2000. And then when 2001 hit, they were done, they disbanded. Again, there's not a lot of history with Machina 2, because it really was just the band came back, not Darcy obviously, but they came back, they recorded these songs, and they gave them out. And they were still touring, they went all over the world. The Machina tour was massive, hundreds of shows to say goodbye, because they were saying goodbye to the entire world. They went to Japan, they went all over the United States, they played in Chicago, where they started it all, back with Gish and Siamese Dream and all that stuff. So it was really, really cool. And then that was it. Then they went on a very, very long break, obviously, for quite some time, until 2006-ish. And there was a lot that happened in between then. The Future Embrace with Billy Corgan, and Zwan with Billy Corgan and Jimmy Chamberlin. We're going to be talking about that after, but, this was the last thing that fans heard from the Smashing Pumpkins, and they heard some of these songs live. They did play quite a few of these songs live throughout the ending of their tour. They played Cash Car Star on the David Letterman show, and that was, I think, the last time they were on air on a late night television show until they came back in the Zeitgeist era. So that was, that was a prominent late night show. They played a song off of Machina 2. No one ever heard that, although they did play some of these songs in the past. 1998 with the whole Adore stuff, they did play Cash Car Star back then. They played some of these alternate versions in the past. This was just the first time that we had heard some of them. And like I said, when you listen to this entire album, it's truly amazing. I love this album a lot, and I can really listen to these songs over and over and over, because they feel like they have a lot of layers, and the same kind of layers that Siamese Dream has, or Adore has, or Melancholy. Machina doesn't have as many layers, even though it is a concept album. Some of the songs I just feel like I can skip over, and not that I don't like them, but I can skip over and not really feel like I'm missing anything. From easily three or four songs from Machina 1. When it comes to Machina 2, it's got the same sound in ways that Machina 1 has, but I just feel like it's more layered. I feel like there's more to learn with the lyrics. I feel like there's more to listen to with his voice, with the guitar, with the drums that are just always so good. So I just feel like there's a lot going on. And then even with the noises in the background, the spacey kind of like gothic sound that they had done in the past and kind of brought back here, but worked in a new way. This is a newer, they don't repeat how they sound that often. They take themes and elements of how they sound, but they always are growing, and I love that. I really do love that. That's what I like about them even now, is they still don't sound the same. That's what a lot of people, Solara, obviously a lot of people got upset that it didn't sound like the 90s Smashing Pumpkins. It's never going to sound like them. We're never going to get Machina 3. It's never going to happen. They could, but it's not going to sound like that because it just music evolves, he evolves, and we're just not going to get that. So Machina 2, I absolutely love this album. It, like I said, it rotates in. When I was listening to it for the review, this is definitely my favorite, and I say that for all of them as I'm getting to it, but truly, some of the songs on this album are some of my favorite songs that they've ever done. One song in particular is tied for #1 with 33, and we'll get to that when we get to that song on this album. But now we're going to go through every single song. I'm not going to say a ton about every song because there are a lot of them, and like I said, there's a lot of doubles. There's a lot of B-sides. There's a lot of alternate takes. There's some songs on here that were also on Machina 1, and so I'll talk about those, but a lot of them are doubled up, and some have just different lyrics. Some of them have different, not a lot of differences in them. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them. And also the order varies. On YouTube there used to be YouTube channels and videos that had them in an order. And when I went back just like this past week to listen to them in the order that I'd always listened to them, because I've been listening to that album for years, it's gone. And now you can only listen to each individual song. So I had to go to Wikipedia, find all the songs, write them down, but this is the order I found from Wikipedia. So we have Glass. Glass is the first song, and Glass, again, is the alternate version of Billy Corgan. This is his character. This is Zero, who got like the divine intervention from God and renamed himself Glass, and made the band with the bandmates. The Ghost Children are the fans, but Glass is technically Billy Corgan. And there's two versions of Glass, not much different. They have the same words, I believe they're the same words. One version is very, very fast, very, very electric, very, very... A lot of these songs hit you very hard. They're very fast-paced. And Glass starts out very, very quick. It starts off just with him singing, and then the guitar rams in right behind it. So I really, really like this song. It's really good. The other Glass is a more slowed-down version. Hard to find all of a sudden. I can only find one version, but I can remember the other version of Glass. But I definitely like the faster pace. Faster paced one is definitely my personal favorite. Cash Car Star is next, and again, there's two different versions of this, but this time the different versions are just a different middle verse. He just has different lyrics in the middle part. The beginning and ending are the same. He just adds an extra verse to the song. This is a fast and amazing song. Jimmy Chamberlin takes over the song. My prediction is they were going to play this song on tour. I'm going to be talking about the songs I hope and want to see them on tour in the tour preview, but this is a song I 100% think they will play. I think with the fact that they're going to be playing the 90s songs with Jimmy Chamberlin, I feel like they've been doing United States when they've had Jimmy Chamberlin in the past little while, because that's kind of his song. There's a lot of history with that song and with him, and he does a phenomenal job at playing it. I feel like that's just to show off just how good he is. I think Cash Car Star is that song. To me, personally, that and maybe like Geek USA are some of the best songs that just show how absolutely amazing Jimmy Chamberlin is. He is fast and he rolls on the song, and it's not just that. Billy Corgan's voice, very, very powerful, and the guitar parts, extremely powerful, extremely, extremely heavy, but this song gets driven by the drums, and it is phenomenal. Easily one of my favorite songs they've ever made. And another song, and a song I think in general, don't know if Glass necessarily fits on Machina 1, but Cash Car Star, throw it right into Machina 1, it makes it a better album 10 times over. Dross does the same kind of thing. Dross is a song that is very, very heavy. And not the fastest song in the world, but also not the slowest song. Again, really, really relies on the guitar, the different kind of guitar sounds, but the more heavy guitar, and also Billy Corgan's voice. Again, very raspy, very, the Billy Corgan that people think of when they think of his voice. But I like this song. It's not any standout. This song doesn't stand out, and there are quite a few songs on this that don't necessarily stand out and be like, yes, I need to listen to this, but none of them are bad, except for maybe one. But none of them are bad. This song I really, really like. It's just not a song I always go back to. Whereas the next song, Real Love, this song is good. This is a more dreamy, this song belongs on Machina. This song reminds me of like a song like Wound on Machina. Towards the second half, around Glass and the Ghost Children, Crying Tree of Mercury, all those kind of songs, that's where this song I think belongs. But it's super, super good. This is a song that I think defines the Machina 2 sound. Because it's got his voice, but it's got really nice lyrics, and it's got really nice guitar, but it's more spacey. There's not really any defined chords that you can really hear. The drums are definitely present. Like, everything's present, but it just sounds different than the music you've heard from them in the past. And I really, really like it. It's a very different kind of song, but it sounds like a Smashing Pumpkins song, and I absolutely love that. Go is next with James Iha. So this is another song that he did before he did Take Me Down on Melancholy. So we've heard him a couple times. We heard him on Pisces as well. So this is a song driven by him, lead singer. I really like this. I mean, his voice is really, really good. It's good to hear another singer other than Billy Corgan from time to time. I feel like when it comes to the tour, again, I don't think they would do this. I think they would do Blew Away on Pisces. But I feel like this song would be really, really good. It's got the more floaty, dreamy, gothic kind of feel. It's got the sound that the Smashing Pumpkins have in Machina 2, but it's just with James Iha. And I really, really like that. I think this song works really, really well on the album. And Let Me Give the World to You is next. Again, they had recorded this with Rick Rubin for the Adore album. A massive mistake not to put it. Not that Adore is not long, because it definitely has enough songs on it, and a lot of fantastic songs. But Let Me Give the World to You, especially the Rick Rubin version, the slower, more just darker version, definitely fits. What I like about this version is it sounds a lot like the Machina 2 sound. It's definitely made for this, and this was the version that they recorded this afterwards. It sounds like Real Love. And that's what I'm saying is this album has that kind of sound. Real Love and Let Me Give the World to You have the same kind of drum sound, have the same kind of guitar and spacey kind of background noises as each other. And it really does, again, define the album. But it's got the same lyrics, same amazing meaning. Absolutely love it. Love his voice. Love everything about the song. This is one of the best songs the Smashing Pumpkins have ever made. I feel like I like the Rick Rubin version better, but this spacey, faster, more like actual rock version definitely fits with Machina 2, so I can see why they did that. And it really continues. This sound continues for the next two songs, Innocence and Home. And they're both the same kind of thing. And I really, really like Innocence. Innocence is definitely driven by his voice. If you don't like his voice, I don't think you're going to love Innocence or even Home, because they both definitely have him stretching out more words and stretching out more lyrics, which I personally love. But again, same kind of thing. When it comes to Innocence, I actually like Innocence better. I think the song kind of, when you think of the word or you say the word innocence, I like how he plays around with that word and kind of breaks it up into parts, and that's part of the song. I really do like that. Whereas Home is a little bit more drawn out, but still, again, the same spacey, gothic sound. I think Home is a good song for sure. I think I was reading like a lot of people actually really like Home, which is great. I'm a fan of it. I'm not the hugest fan of it. But Innocence, out of those two, are definitely my favorite. But we're definitely in like a more spacey feel, and that's really this middle part of this album. I guess you can call it an album. It's just there's a lot of B-sides and a lot of alternate takes. But these three songs are really, really good back to back to back. Blue Skies Bring Tears is up next, and obviously this was a song on Machina 1. Now, when I listened to this song on Machina 2, I actually liked this initially, the first time I listened to it. I liked it better on Machina 2 than Machina 1. I just think it has a different kind of sound to it that works. It definitely works for Machina 2. Here's what I'll say about it now. I actually like it better on Machina 1. I like the way it sounds. I like the more scary. It's got a scary kind of feel to it both times, but in Machina 1 I just like more about how the background sounds are, about his voice. Same song, same exact song, just recorded differently with different sounds in the background. Definitely like this version, but I like Machina's better. White Spider is next, and White Spider is a song that sounds a lot like other songs that we're going to get to later, like EPs. Soul Power is another song that comes to my mind when I think of White Spider. This one's unique. This one's got a really, really nice guitar sound to it, especially towards the second half of this song. Really, really fast. Goes back and forth with heavy guitar and fast guitar, and kind of even fancy-ish guitar parts, and also Billy Corgan's voice, and I really, really like this song overall. It took me a while. This song was not one of my favorite songs, or a song like I liked at all, going into this album. When I was listening to it, I would actually skip over this song sometimes because I just didn't like the first half, actually. The first half is a little hard. I think once you get into this song, it's a really fun song. It's very fast, very entertaining, but it's got a lot of depth with the guitar parts, and it's also got the depth with his voice. And the next song, In My Body, yes, this song is good. And I mean really good. I can listen to this song over and over and over, and I actually have done that multiple times. It's long enough where it can take a long period of time if you want to do that. You can listen to the song. It's around 8 minutes long, so you can listen to the song only a couple times and lose, half an hour at a time. But this song is good. The song is very dreary. It's very removed from itself. I love the noises to it. I love that it's driven mainly just through noises. He doesn't sing that much. The lyrics are not very long. He repeats himself a lot. And it's not really driven by his voice, but it does have this, again, more dreamy, gothic sound that sounds perfect. Like, this is a perfect song. This song would never work on, like, a radio station. This song would never work on Machina, especially with Glass and the Ghost Children. I feel like they're just too similar, even though they aren't similar. I mean, they sound very much different. But you can't have two super long songs like that, especially because I think In My Body stretches. And I think if you just don't like it, you're going to be sitting there for like quite a while, 8 minutes. I'm listening to not a lot unless you actually like it, in which case you kind of just take in the experience of it, which I do. This is a song I always listen to just by itself, like not when listening to the album. I can listen to this song all day long. If There Is a God is next, and this song is definitely one of my favorites, one of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins songs of all time. There's two different versions. One version is more piano, it's just piano really, and Billy Corgan, and I love it. Very, very personal, very, very emotional, very much driven by his voice, but also the piano. Definitely the piano here. And I really, really like that version. I don't know which version I like most. The other version is very, very dreamy, very more like noises in the background, again with that kind of sound that definitely fits more with this album, but I feel like a song like Try, 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 and then a song like this, If There Is a God, work perfectly in If There Is a God in the terms of the stripped down version. The stripped down version of a lot of these songs, or when you listen to him live, sound like perfect. If There Is a God with his voice and the piano, that cut is amazing. Is really, really amazing. You don't hear that often, and that is what I'm talking about with like just the pure like raw energy and raw like emotion from him. You really feel it in that song. I feel like you feel that almost the most you'll ever get from Billy Corgan, except for maybe a few other songs. But definitely this song is one of my favorite on the album. Both versions, phenomenal. I can listen to both versions, but they're very different. They're very, very different. If you're looking for the more raw and personal side of it, it's just the, I think the original one is the one with Billy Corgan and just the piano. And I think the other one is the one where it's more gothic and moody and all that kind of stuff. I think that's the second version. But I love both versions a lot. I just like the one more. Ladeix Machina is up next, and this song is creepy. This song is very, very creepy, and I actually listened to it again just because I thought it was the one that's just the all music, no singing. And it's got a terrifying pattern on the piano. And when I was reading some of the comments, there's not a lot of comments on the music, on the video on YouTube, but a lot of people were saying, like, this song, like, terrifies me. It's a very eerie kind of song that I don't think fits in like with any of this stuff. But somebody was saying like it's got this sound of crestfallen back on a door, and I can see that. I feel like the music part of it definitely can match some of the earlier stuff. This is not like Melancholy though, like Melancholy and Infinite Sadness. This seems like the Machina version, and actually that's the whole point. Machina's in the name of it. But I just feel like this maybe reflects the kind of band and the way they were in the Machina days, whereas Melancholy definitely fits with the Melancholy album, and I think this song definitely fits with the Machina album, but it's just so scary. Like it's actually very, very creepy and very weird that it's on here, but I love the song. It's not any song that's just like from these kind of bands, Smashing Pumpkins, Blink, Green Day, any of these bands. I don't like just listening to the music. I like listening to like songs with them singing as well. I just feel like you're missing something if you're not getting his voice, and if it's just kind of a repeating pattern. But this song is definitely creepy. It's not really a song I'd just listen to out of the blue, but if I'm listening to the entire album, it's a nice little interlude until you get to the next song. Just Atom Bomb or Here's to the Atom Bomb. There's actually, I think, there's two different versions. I know that. I've always seen it as Here's to the Atom Bomb, but I think the original title is Atom Bomb. This song is really, really catchy. It's really, really good. He's played this live. He played this live in like the VIP stuff that he was doing in like 2015, and I kept listening to it over and over again. There are different actual lyrics. He has different lyrics for the two, and one is more popish, one is more 1979 sounding, which is really, really fun and really, really catchy. I feel like that is the catchy one. And then there's the other one that's very, very, again, fits the mood of this, more spacey, more gothic, more moody, all that kind of stuff. Both versions I love kind of equally. I actually don't really have a favorite that I could pick. I really do like each of them equally, but the lyrics are different, so you can really get two completely different experiences. Even though it's the same song title, you can get two different experiences out of the actual song. Now is when it starts to get broken up. I don't actually know where these songs are on the album, but we have Slow Dawn up next, and this technically could be the first song. Machina 2 is actually like 2 to 3 albums put together, but also side B-sides, which is more like the Speed Kills kind of stuff, which we'll get to in like a couple minutes. But this song, depending on how you listen to it, like I said, when the entire thing was on YouTube, this song was the first song you could listen to, and I love this song. This song is very reminiscent to me of like Pisces Days, him, where it's a fantastic voice. I really love his voice in it, but it's super, super guitar driven and super, super heavy, but not necessarily that heavy. It's more just fancy guitar solos and fancy guitar work while he's singing. I love it when he matches singing with the guitar parts, and this song is actually really, really good. Same thing with Vanity up next. Vanity is the exact same kind of thing. It's a mixture of him singing it, but it's also a mixture of the really nice, beautiful music behind him. This is a song that I can listen to over and over, and I don't necessarily feel super invested with the song. I don't think I like it as much as Slow Dawn, but I do like it. I can listen to it while I'm doing something else. I don't need to be focusing on it. But it's actually really, really catchy. I feel like it's one of the more catchy songs on this, especially how he uses the word vanity. And he says that multiple times throughout the song. But how he does it, I just feel like it's more catchy. It's more pop-ish, but it also has the nice heavy guitar parts to it. Saturn, and depending on how you read it or say it, it actually is either Saturn 9 or Saturn with a 9 in it. And the song is weird. This title is weird just to begin with, but this is a more moody, again, it's slow. It's more dark. It really kind of stands on its own. It's not the greatest. This is one of those songs that just kind of happens. This is a song that when you mix Machina 1 and Machina 2 together, this is a song that doesn't need to be on the album in order to make it work. Like if you wanted to make a double album, this is one of the songs I would nominate to be removed. I don't not like it. I definitely don't like hate it, but it's not like a song that does anything for me. It doesn't really fit the more... in a way, this album is more darker, is more depressing, but I feel like this song is a little bit just too far right to that, that it doesn't just work for me. And then we had the other version of Glass, which we had already done, and I already talked about in the beginning. Then there's another set of 4 songs, and these 4 songs are heavy, and they're fast, and they're amazing. In a way. Some of the songs sound a little bit the same. Soul Power is a song that I think would work a lot on Melancholy. It sounds like a Melancholy song to me. It's more heavy guitar, kind of one note, but like detuned and all on the E string. And it sounds a bit like Cash Car Star in the terms of how he's using the actual guitar parts. But in terms of the singing part, it goes back and forth between very heavy singing, very in-your-face singing, and very heavy guitar parts. He even screams at some part, like towards the end of this song. Really, really powerful. This song hits you. This is a song that maybe isn't the greatest song by itself, but it's not the greatest because, you know, it doesn't have anything super different when it comes to guitar, super different when it comes to his voice, but this is a song that just absolutely hits you. This is a song that is like Everlasting Gaze. I think Everlasting Gaze is just a much better song, but this is a song I think would fit really, really well towards the middle half of Machina to help it give it that extra punch. This is a song that I actually would prefer on Machina 1. Then we had Cash Car Star. I already talked about that. Very heavy. That's why this, you know, a very fast song, very heavy driven song. It really fits with these group of 4. Lucky 13 is next, and Lucky 13 is another song that's very heavy, and to me has the same kind of sound that Soul Power does. It's got the voice and it's got the heavy guitars. There's not really a lot more for me to talk about than that. This is a song that I feel like would miss the cut. I kind of want to do a video about that if I were to mix both albums together, like what would I get. But Lucky 13 I don't think really stands on its own that well. I feel like it sounds a little bit too much like Soul Power, but not as good, not as heavy, not as like in your face as Soul Power, and therefore I just don't think overall it's as good of a song. And then Speed Kills. Now Speed Kills is definitely makes my list top 10, top 15 of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins songs of all time. Beautiful, beautiful singing. And I know that's weird when you think of Billy Corgan, you don't necessarily think of beautiful singing, but I love his singing in the song. And I love, absolutely love, the guitar parts. And I love the drum parts as well, but the guitar parts in this are pure amazing. They really are. They're absolutely phenomenal. I really, really love them. They work super well. Again, towards the second half, just a ton of amazing guitar parts mixed in with him singing. I'm a big fan of when he does that. I can say it over and over again. When he's playing solo-ish notes while he's singing over it, and the notes reflect him singing. This is in Soma. This is in so many songs throughout the Smashing Pumpkins history. I love it when he does this, and I think Speed Kills works phenomenally well. He's played this song live as well, and although he doesn't necessarily do all those solo parts, it still sounds just as good. This is easily one of my favorite songs on this album, and one of my favorite songs the Smashing Pumpkins have ever made. And then we have 3 more, and again, these some of these are repeats, but we have If There Is a God, Another Time. This is the same thing that I was saying earlier. But then we have my favorite song of all time by them, tied with 33, which is Try, 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 the alternate take. I don't know why that this song couldn't have been on Machina 1. I do, actually, because, you know, they recorded it after Machina 1. But how I would wish that this song made it instead of the version on Machina 1. I like the version on Machina 1, but I think when you hear this version, there's not a doubt in my mind that this version is 1,000, and I mean it, 1,000 times better. What I love, actually, is that Billy Corgan has played Try, Try, Try. Back then, he played it, back in 2000 when they were doing the final tour, and he also played it most recently in the OG La La tour. Now, I love that, because that's really the first time he's played it in 18, 17 years. I really do like that. The thing is, it's not the same lyrics. They're completely, other than saying Pop-Tart and For This Love Aloud, they're different lyrics completely. And I really love the lyrics of this one. I love everything about it. I can listen to the song 100 times, and I have. I've listened to it thousands of times. I can play on the guitar. I think it's a beautiful song. Really can connect to a lot of people. I love its message of literally trying to keep something together, whether it be love, whether it be a band, a relationship, whatever. This song can mean a lot of different things, and I absolutely love its meaning. This is, like I said, my favorite song from them. I love the kind of the sounds in the background. I absolutely adore it. I love the drum, which is just kind of there. It sounds beautiful. It doesn't get in the way. It definitely complements the guitar parts, which the guitar parts are not heavy. It's very quiet, and it's really led by his voice. This song is led by his voice 1,000%. And I love it because it doesn't, it sounds like him. It sounds like Machina Days him. But it just sounds more, it just sounds better. It just sounds more beautiful. It sounds much more emotionally filled. That's the problem I have with the other Try, Try, Try on Machina 1, is it feels like he's just kind of going through the motions. It actually feels like he doesn't even want to try to sing. And like I said in that review, maybe that's the purpose. Maybe that's actually what he was going for, especially when you watch the music video and how depressing and dark it is. Maybe that was the purpose. But in this one, I just feel like it's way more emotionally led and way more just full of energy from him. And I think that definitely translates to make it a much better song. I mean, this is, like I said, these are my favorite 2 songs from the Smashing Pumpkins by a mile. Try, 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 Alternate Take, and 33. And the final song is Heavy Metal Machine, which, let me tell you something about this song, I don't like it. This is the only song on Machina 2 that I necessarily don't like at all. It's scary, to be honest. It's too long. It's got too much eeriness to it. He is just saying heavy metal machine over and over again, and this is one where again it sounds like he's kind of dying when he's singing it. He's just got a weird sound to him when he's singing it, very disconnected, and I think that's what the song is about. I think that's kind of the overall tone, but the song is just too moody, too literally dark. I just don't like it. It doesn't fit at all, and I guess if you listen to it in the order I just said, listening to Try, 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 and then listening to this song will not work and will never work. They do not complement each other whatsoever. I don't think you can put any song before or after Heavy Metal Machine, the second take. In this case, I love the first Heavy Metal Machine take. I will gladly take the more rock-oriented, super powerful rock-oriented one. I definitely will take that over this one. So that is my Machina 2 review. Let me know in the comments below, if you're still here, which I doubt many are, in the comments below about what you guys think of Machina 2. I've absolutely loved doing this, as you could probably tell. I don't make videos that are 35, 40 minutes long, but I love making them for the Smashing Pumpkins. 2 weeks, we're going to be going over the Shiny and Oh So Bright tour. I'm going to be previewing it. I'm going to be talking about the songs that I want to see from them and what do I think the actual tour is going to be like. I definitely want to talk about that. We'll be reviewing any more songs that come out on them. They released 1, but there's 7 more. So I'll be reviewing all 7 of those songs when they come out 100%. So I definitely want to do that. And then when we come back from the preview of the tour, I want to start reviewing the rest of the albums. We got more. We got Zwan, we got Zeitgeist, then we got Oceania, and we got Monuments to an Elegy. So I cannot wait to do those remaining 4. And then we're going to be doing some different stuff. I definitely want to do what I just kind of came up with in this video and mix Machina 1 and 2 and see what kind of album I can come up with if I combine the best and what would make the most sense in order of Machina 1 and Machina 2. I definitely want to do that as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in 2 weeks.